speaking of that, you guys wrote an article, and I'm going to flip to it. And I know the audience is like, dude, that is a lot of wood to chop to finally get to this article. Fair enough.
I hope it's one that I wrote, because there's a lot on there that I didn't write. So I don't know what it is.
Okay, I don't think you wrote this one. But,
Okay.
But screw it. You just came from Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about these issues all the time.
Sure.
I fully trust that you can hit it. The Coming Arab Century or The Final Burial.
Oh, the one from yesterday. Yeah, Taha, fantastic writer. He's from Libya.
A choice in the shadow of Israel's expansion. The tragedy of our age is not that enemies are strong, but that our unity is weaker than theirs. What a great point. What a great point. Israel is a country of, 8 million people? Mm-hmm. You have a world community at this point that hates their guts and think they're filthy animals at this point, just filthy dogs that are murdering women and children. And yet you have these Arab leaders that are not just not doing anything about it, but is supporting Israel to create that greater Israel, which is amazing, even though greater Israel runs through their countries. So it's not like greater Israel stops in Syria or in Lebanon.
It goes all the way to Baghdad.
Yes, it does. Mm-hmm. And so the idea that these countries, Saudi Arabia,
it includes UAE, like a good large northern portion of Saudi, and then I think like UAE and obviously Qatar and Bahrain are unaffected, but I think there's a large northern chunk of Saudi as well, right?
Yes, but yes, it does. But I'm pointing out that Jordan, UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, all of these countries assist Israel. They were knocking down Iranian missiles when Iran was firing missiles. They were scheming. I don't believe for a moment Saudi Arabia is all of a sudden buddy with Iran. Maybe that's me being cynical. I don't buy it. I think all things being equal, they're like, hey, please just don't hit our oil fields.
Yeah, I don't think they like each other at all, really.
No, I think they would put on airs.
Oh, for 100%.
And putting on airs may have a positive benefit. But I guess I'm trying to make the basic point. You are supporting the murder of Muslims, Arabs, and you're standing by while they do this, while this takes place. You're giving them oil, you're giving them energy, you're allowing their pipelines to go through, you're giving them support, you're doing all of this stuff, you're giving them military support. And you can't even openly tell your own populations that you're doing it because they would be so angry at you that you're effectively doing it. But you're doing it, despite the fact that when they finish with these other countries, Syria, Lebanon, etc., they're coming back to you. This is the Anne Frank thing. I'm fascinated by it. I get the sense that the article is making the point of, look, either you're going to allow this greater Israel to be created, where they're going to create these Abraham Accords, where you're going to be effectively trapped second-class citizens, where the U.S. can flip on you in a heartbeat, just like they flipped on these other countries. Or you are actually going to stand up for something and have some level of a moral core, some level of loyalty to your own religion, your own ethnic, cultural expression. You have one or the other. Those are your choices. Give me your take on that. I mean, especially after just coming out of Iraq.
Well, it's funny you brought up Jordan, and I think Jordan's a good one to talk about because they're so complacent and complying. Even they're not just complacent. They do what they're told. There's a reason why, because Jordan is completely absorbed by greater Israel. So of course they're going to keep a subdued leader in there and keep that country down.
Yeah.
It was interesting talking to the Iraqis. They are very, I don't want to say apolitical. They're apolitical when it comes to outside of their country. They don't want to overthrow other people's governments. They don't like Jolani, but they said we still support the state of Syria. We don't want to remove Jolani. That's a neutral position, not in the supporting. They just don't want to balkanize Syria or add to the chaos. They're just not very like rah political in the sense that they say things like, oh, we want, like, Jolani is a bad leader, or Lebanon needs to do this. They have opinions, but they're just not. They don't make them actionable. They're very much concerned about themselves, but in the sense that they understand that they're interconnected. We discussed the regional forces of Jolani and what they're possibly going to do and come to Iraq. And we also talked about Greater Israel. They are very much aware. Their kind of motto is they'll come back and we need to be ready. They're going to come
Yes.
back. And they're very much like that. You will not catch the Iraqis with their pants down like they've been able to with these other people. They understand what's at stake. And especially now that Baghdad and these places are being built up, I don't think you're going to see it's going to be even more difficult than it was in the early 2000s. The people that I spoke to were people that were either children or young adults when the Americans came. Do you think they're going to let them come back in? So it's a really they're preparing for the worst, 100% preparing for the worst, but they're not preparing to be the aggressor, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But America's already still there. America has
2,000 troops, yes, and they're very what's the word I'm looking for?
angry, annoyed.
The Americans, I don't know, but they're not allowed. They're very isolated. They're only there as like a placeholder, is what the kind of understanding that I got. I saw where the Americans are. I saw where they're stationed and where they work in the green zone and stuff like that. I mean, I know that area anyway, but I think they're mostly there as a placeholder because it's much easier to say we have 2,000 troops in there. Let's add another 1,000 than it is to say we have 0. We need to throw 2,000 troops in there. So they're staying there as a just in case. I'm pretty positive.
Right. But if it's a just in case, it's also a just in case. If it's 2,000, then it's.
That's what I said too. I was like, if it's 2,000, that you know that tomorrow it can be 20,000.
Exactly.
They know that. They know that.
It also controls their politics on some level.
Yeah. Their government is heavily influenced by the West, but I think that they're a little bit more independent minded than people might think. Plus they have different, you're not just talking to the office of the president. They have a religious council. They have a mobilization force. They have the Iraqi army. They have Iraqi security forces. And all of these people get a say at the table. So it's not just going to be a Western leaning Iraqi president that says, come in, Habibi, and do whatever you want. You're going to have to deal with all of these other factions that are going to say, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay. So if America decides we're going to put in 20,000 troops tomorrow,
I think they're going to see worse than the early 2000s in terms of IEDs. Not saying that I know anybody that builds IEDs, but that's just what you're going to see. These people are heavily armed now. They have guns from all over the world. They can improvise devices. They have their own drones. They have jammers. They have everything there. It's not going to be like 2000. It's not going to be like 2003. You don't have a disenfranchised groups of people like you did under Saddam, right? You had the Kurds who were very disenfranchised as well as the Sunni. And then, you don't have that. You don't have that sort of sectarianism. I met Shia Kurds, Shia Arabs. I met Yazidis. They were all working together. I'm sure those divides could be exploited, but I don't think it's going to be the same situation that there was in 2003. That's only 22 years ago. That's quite fresh. It's not like they're coming in 50 years later. So I just don't think they're going to be as successful. They're well aware that Greater Israel actually slices through Iraq like that and just misses Baghdad, but it takes at least 50% of the country. They're well aware of that. They know.
But the Americans let me ask you this, were they more well-armed, and as a country, with missiles and everything else with Saddam, or now? Obviously would have been with Saddam, right? I don't think America would have let them rearm.
No, they're armed.
Well, I don't doubt small arms.
You have to understand, they're not just a military. You have the PMF, which is a popular mobilization forces, which is literally just a civilian army. It's an army of volunteers. 3 million people volunteer for the PMF. They don't get their weapons through the government. Do
they have air defense?
Oh, yeah. They have air defense, jamming, and drones. Not that I think that they could withstand another air assault by the United States. I'm not like a crazy person, but I think that they could push back against it for sure and do some serious damage. I think they also have quite a bit of time before Israel does get into Iraq, if they do. I think that Lebanon's going to be quite the quagmire for Israel and the United States, politically especially.
Yeah. I guess my concern is that, look, I know I use this term filthy animals and laugh for a lot of people in this region. Yes, Lebanon is going to be a quagmire. Agreed.
Mhm.
I am with 2,000 troops there, whether it's 2,000 or 10,000. I get the sense that the United States is not going to allow them to be in a situation to prepare for anything that's coming along the lines of something like Israel. And even if they wanted to go through in order to support or help, I get the sense that they're not going to be allowed to. Like, for example, when Iraq says it's time for the United States to leave, and the US says,
No.
oh, ain't that cute?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
I know.
Like, right? Like, what the hell is that? It's time for you to leave. We're passing a law saying you need to get the F out. And they're like, oh, look at them pass laws.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell, man? What
Mm-hmm.
the hell?
But I mean, that's also an indication that, okay, then we need to start preparing for
Can
the
you
worst.
do that with the U.S. being there?
Yeah, there's only 2,000 soldiers there that can't even leave the green zone. If they leave the green zone, they'll get kidnapped.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they're literally just there as sort of sitting ducks and placeholders. They don't really do anything but man guard stations, and they have air defenses there. They have the CRAM there. The Americans have the CRAM there. So
what's the CRAM? Just
the air defense system.
Oh, okay. You're in the military.
Stationary air defense system, usually at bases or installations.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Give me a take on the Arab thing. I mean, do you see that changing? I mean, honestly, the only time I see that changing is if America collapses.
What Arab thing? The Arab unity issue?
Yeah, because that is, I mean, they have Arab unity in the context of helping Israel, which is not Arab unity at all.
I think that we've really, and I think the Arabs, I might be overstepping my bounds a little bit here. I think that Arabs / Muslims have done themselves a disservice by utilizing Arab unity, which then allowed everyone else to paint them as a monolith. And so you have one group of Arabs that act, and you're like, oh, this is how the Arabs feel. There's a, even, you have your Shia crescent, and obviously they tend to work together. But then you have the North Africans, and they tend to some lean towards the axis of resistance, some lean towards normalization. And I think that idea that it's a monolith has done. I don't know if it was deliberate, like a tool that the West sort of did. It was to paint them as a monolith, Muslims and Arabs in general. They bring the Iranians in there. They're not Arab at all.
Persian.
And it's like, they did themselves a great disservice. So now they have Saudi, who is the loudest voice, and they kind of just speak for all of the Arabs. I don't foresee Arab unity coming together. What that includes the Gulf states. The Gulf states are on a different life path than the rest of them. Look at how are you going to sit here and say the people of Libya probably hold the same opinions as the people of Saudi? They're both Arabs. They're both Muslim. How can they? The people of Libya are still living through the results of the civil war we caused, and the people of Saudi are building casinos. Like, how do those two people have the same perspective on anything? They don't. But we're just expected to say, oh, the Arab League, or, oh, all of the Muslims feel this way. It's very detrimental, I think.
But I don't
think that they should think about Arab unity. I don't think that they should think about it along those lines. Arab is not a race. It's not an ethnicity. It's a language group. Are you guys grouping yourselves together and creating unity out of a language? Okay, I get them. But I think that they need to get away from that idea of Arab unity and unite along some other line.
To be fair, I don't know if they created that idea.
I don't know either. But I know that the idea of ummah is there, which kind of lends to that. But I do think that a lot of it is Western propaganda that sort of.
I think it's from the West. I think we're framing it
all
with
the
our
same.
context.
They're all the same.
If you're in the United States and it's like you lived through 9/11 and all of a sudden it's.
That's true, right? Remember when it was like, what's the difference if we bomb Afghanistan or Iraq? It's the same thing.
Same thing. We don't even. It's like those Iranians. They're just. It's like they're not even the same.
They're not even the same. That's exactly. Very good point.
I think it's that. Like, meaning, I think we're shaping a certain context, using American
And
context,
doing
in
that
order to.
actually, now we're like brainstorming and riffing, but doing that actually erases the borders and kind of makes this even easier, right? Because it takes away the actual identity of each state. They're not Iraqis, they're
Yes.
just Arabs. They're not
Yes.
Lebanese, they're Arabs. They're not Egyptians, they're Muslims. You know what I mean? It takes away that and that's something that the West really hates is nationalism, because nationalism creates unity in the entirety of the country. So
Yeah,
yes,
nasty.
I think you're right. I think this was a good brainstorming session. It helps to
Well,
erase
I
those.
appreciate that.
Yeah, that's
Appreciate
good.
that. You can say that more. I think you're right. I think you're right.
Wait, I like when we do like a back and forth because you always push back on me and it's good because it gives me like a, oh yeah, that's a good. I didn't think
I
of it that
don't do
way.
it on purpose. It's just when I think you're wrong. I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
All right, I'm getting off. Oh my god,
I'm
I lost
teasing.
you.
I'm teasing.
I
I'm
didn't mean
teasing.
to do that.
But
I don't
wait,
mean
before you go, before you go, one last story. One last story. If you have time, what time is it? What time is it?
Mhm.
It's 10 o'clock. Do you have about 15 minutes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What's wrong?
No, nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. So Serbia. I have a friend of mine, professional friend, because there's usually a difference between those things. In Serbia, and I saw the images that were coming out. And I was like, holy shit, what the F? What is going on in Serbia? People are, this is like bringing on the revolution. And he's like, yeah, it's a good thing I went to the beach. It's not as bad as it looks. And I said, yeah, pictures, they look pretty bad.
Oh,
What is going on in Serbia? And just to show some of the pictures,
yeah, go
and
ahead.
just
Show them.
the toot your horn, DD Geopolitics. You guys do fantastic work. I don't think I said that today.
Yeah, we have a really good group of Serbs that we have Serbs in the diaspora and Serbs in country, so we get the both of the perspectives.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know it was that bad until last night. Serbia's been protesting since 2024. We've done our best to keep it as neutral and just factual as we could, even though we're not anti-Vucic. I just don't really like the guy.
Mhm.
But so we tried to keep it neutral. Last night, my co-founder area.
Wait, this is Belgrade. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
This
that's
is a long
Belgrade.
one. Please keep going. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
last night, my co-founder said Belgrade's getting really bad. And I was like, whoa, and for him to kind of pull me aside and say that, I was like, it must be pretty bad. That's Syria. It's further down. But anyway,
Fine.
so, and I saw the fires and stuff at Novi Sad. There was a lot of craziness in Belgrade. This is the culmination of a lot of things. People don't realize that small instances in Kosovo, Metohija, Albania, Serbia can actually have a huge cascading effect. There were a few people arrested in Kosovo, a few Serbs. That could cause a war. That's how
Tense.
tense everything is. I don't know if you saw my post from yesterday, but the alliance that has been forming, it did form there. Yeah, there you go. The alliance that formed is this interesting Catholic. I don't even know. It's the Croats, Albanians, Kosovo. I'm sure Bosnia will join in, and Bulgaria is supposed to be joining in, and they will be backed by the United States if a war begins.
Sorry, I'm flipping through. Please continue. I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. And then last night we actually got into a conversation in a space about why right now is there so much aggression against Orthodox countries, Orthodox Christian countries. We have Armenia that's I will expect at least partially will be partially cleansed, ethnically cleansed in the corridor. That's the oldest Orthodox Christian state in the world. 301 AD it was established. It will be severely damaged if not wiped off the map after what happened, after what Trump did. Serbia is another stronghold of Orthodox Christianity. They're being pushed into liberalism. They're being pushed into war. Russia is our obviously our largest. Greece has already been subdued and broken. They're no longer considered part of the Orthodox Crescent. Bulgaria is in NATO. Like it's just Romania is in NATO, and it's interesting that I don't think of things in religious terms because I'm not a really religious person. But there was a very strong Orthodox belt that ran through Eastern Europe into Asia, into Russia and Asia. And they are destroying that. And if you look at what Israel's doing inside of the Levant, they're destroying everything that is Christian. They want the Armenian Christian lands. They tore up the road to Damascus that's talked about in the Bible. This is a 2,000-year-old road, over 2,000 years old. Why did they rip that road up? Why? Because they want to. It's very interesting what's happening. Serbia is the strongest cornerstone of Orthodox Christianity in Europe proper, and they want to destroy it. I don't know if those things are connected. I just kind of was talking about it last night and discussing it, how these Orthodox countries are very much under sort of assault. Or Orthodox peoples even, because the Armenians, they want the Armenians in Israel out. They want them gone. The Christians in Syria were systematically destroyed on purpose under Jolani.
But Israel is a racist country, and Jolani has been murdering even more Muslims than Christians.
Yeah, but even in Iraq, the United States knew that the Christians were being chased out of Iraq, and they allowed that to happen. Iraq had an enormous Christian population before the 2000 war, the war of the 2000s, and they're all gone.
I know, but the United States doesn't care about. I don't know. Maybe we're looking at this differently.
Yes, they do. The United States very much cares about religion. Are you kidding?
No, I'm saying we don't care about Christians. We don't care about. We are perfectly okay if Jolani goes through and massacres Christians in Syria. We are perfectly okay if Israel murders.
Only certain kinds of Christians. Only certain kinds of Christians. I'm learning now. That last
certain kinds of Christians.
That last article that I wrote, I am absolutely learning now what these people believe ideologically. It is
what people
conglomeration, the Americans and the people who are actually in charge, the elites. It's a conglomeration of weird religious ideology, evangelicism, and combined with this militant, like crusader, imperialistic idea. It's not. Look at Mike Huckabee. Mike Huckabee believes he's the ambassador in Israel for spiritual reasons. Pete Hegseth wants to be a crusader again. These aren't people that are really LARPing or like memeing or trolling. They believe this. They believe this.
Yeah, but they don't let this stuff get in front of their own political objectives. But
it doesn't get in front of it because it goes right along with it.
But you just made the argument that they were decimating Christian areas. Both things can't be true. It has to be one or the other. Either they have to believe in this kind of Orthodox Christianity and everything else. My point of view is that they're going after political objectives meaning in a geopolitical sense. So we need to go after Russia, Serbia.
They coincide.
They coincide.
Yeah. You still haven't read Clash of Civilizations, I can tell. It's in there.
The reason that what did you just mic drop?
I think so. Actually, my camera is having so many issues.
She's like, you didn't read it. It's in there. Mic drop. Look, nobody would be messing with Serbia if Serbia wasn't associated with Russia.
But why are they messing with Armenia?
Because Armenia at some point was affiliated with Russia also.
No, that's not why they're messing with Armenia. Come on now. Because of Russia?
They're not affiliated with them now. I give you that.
Serbia is not affiliated with Russia. They sell weapons to Ukraine and Israel.
Come on now.
That Serbia Russia thing is a total, that's propaganda. They're close, but they're not nearly as close.
I don't buy that. That is
When's
not.
the last time you've been to Belgrade? Those people don't want much to do with Russia.
I disagree with that.
Sorry, but you're wrong. It's very much something that we kind of play up online. We call it kanging. It's very much kanging. It's just people just wanting that to be true, so we say that it is. It's not true.
Russia doesn't seem.
Russia will not protect Serbia in this instance.
Oh, I'm not saying Russia will go to war for Serbia. Well, they won't go for it again as they did the first time around. But I'm pointing out
they didn't even do enough the first time.
What are you talking about? You mean the First World War?
No, I'm talking about the wars in Yugoslavia.
Well, they couldn't do anything in that situation. I mean, they were kind of hobbled. Come on. The Yeltsin years. the buy me a beer Yeltsin, who was drunk most of the time?
Yeah, he was pretty drunk.
Yeah, what were they supposed to do? I mean, I have a sentimental feeling for Gorbachev. I despise Yeltsin. I
I don't have any good feelings for Gorbachev.
I know a lot of people don't. Because they think he
sold out the USSR for a Pizza Hut.
It wasn't a piece of. Okay. I'm not gonna look. Every Russian that I've spoken to has been like, "Fuck that guy."
Yeah, fuck that guy.
As an American, we need dreamers. We need people like that. You made this.
No, we need nationalists. That's what we need right now. No more dreamers. Stop being shit libs. It's time to get serious, or we're going to lose the Armenians.
Yeltsin was a nationalist.
Syrian Christians.
Yeltsin was a nationalist. Boris Yeltsin, buy me a beer. Boris was a nationalist.
Boris Yeltsin was a vodka enthusiast. I don't even know.
And a nationalist who wanted singular Russia
with no territory.
I'm just pointing out he was a nationalist. You said we need nationalists. Gorbachev was a dreamer. Agreed. And he was a sucker. Agreed. I postulate all this. I'm honest about my feelings on this. But we need that. Imagine a world of just cynical people who are just cutthroat, as opposed to somebody who's like, we can do better. We can make peace. We can have world unity. We can have world harmony. And I get that the U.S. was like, yes, the sucker. Yeah. We're going to go after him.
Yeah, we need dreamers. They really help, right?
Kind of.
No.
If you have people on the same page.
The breakup of the USSR was the singular largest tragedy of geopolitics in the last century, period. And that includes both world wars.
I did say if everybody was on the same page.
What? You live in a fantasy world.
I said, if everybody's on the same page, I'm postulating. Look, I agree with you that Gorbachev royally fucked up. Agreed. You have my complete and deepest agreement. He got it wrong, and it failed miserably. Agreed.
There's a time and a place to dream. There's when there's times and places to dream. There's when you're in certain positions you can dream. Then that was not the position.
Then I agree with you.
I agree with the idea that we need dreamers, we need innovators, we need people that think outside of the box. We need some people that are a bit utopian in their views. And I do agree with that because it balances out the cynicism and things that are horrible. But there's a time and a place, and there's a time and a place to get serious. Like right now we have, I think you could say Trump's a bit of a dreamer with all of these peace talks. Now is not the time to be a dreamer when it comes to Russia, Ukraine.
Wait, what do you mean he's a dreamer? I think he's cynical as all hell. I don't think
right. I haven't been updated, but before he was like, Putin doesn't stop by the 8th, or we can get him to stop. And now he's saying, no, he can't get him to stop, right?
Kind of. I mean, he's now out making threats again, saying, oh, there are going to be severe consequences if so and so and so and so.
For whom?
Why do you think he's a dreamer? I'm curious. And by the way, I agree with you on Gorbachev. That was not the time and place.
I think Trump doesn't even dwell in reality.
Dig into that. I need to know what you mean by it.
Well, he thinks he created peace in Pakistan, India. He didn't. He thinks he ended a war between Serbia and Kosovo that didn't exist, even though we're on the precipice of a huge war in Yugoslavia, the Balkans.
At 3 a.m. between Trump and his guy, do you really think he believes that?
I don't think that. I think he's senile.
That may be true.
I think he's on his way. I think he's on his way that way. I think I do believe he believes a lot of his delusions of grandeur. I believe he's a narcissist through and through. I do believe that he believes a lot of these delusions of grandeur. 100%. Absolutely.
I can't fathom that. I just think
absolutely. These people are sociopaths. They believe. That's why they succeed so well in business. But that's why they're so great at business. They believe their delusions of grandeur. They become self-fulfilling prophecies.
That's mostly because they don't have a conscience. That's not necessarily because they believe it. There's a difference. Like, you could be right. I don't know what's in his mind. But I'm more curious about, God damn it, Sarah. Every time we have this conversation. All right, I'll let you go. I'll let you go. I want to hear your take, but I'm going to let you go. Because
we'll talk about it again and again and again. We will. We always do.
Well, we haven't talked about this because you were gone at the time with it. And we spent, I think, 40 minutes talking about the Iraq trip. I'm going to let you go. I'm not going to be an ass I'm not going to hold you.
You're never an ass. Stop.
But I want to know what you mean by the dreamer thing.
You
Because
don't,
I don't think he's a
that
dreamer.
Trump believes his delusions of grandeur. I absolutely 100% think he believes them.
I think Donald Trump is functioning as a U.S. president. And as a U.S. president, he realizes in very concrete terms, Ukraine is falling apart, and it is going to be deeply humiliating if the front collapses in a month or two. And I'm holding the bag for this. And the Europeans are delusional. I need to get something done now. That's what I think is happening. Now, whether he can get something done, whether he can accept a deal from the Russian president, who knows? Who knows? I think this is going to be very difficult for a U.S. president to accept effectively a surrender document from the Russian president. But who knows? If it's between...
Oh, the delegation just came out for who will be at the United States-Russia summit. This should be incredible. Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Scott Bessent, and Steve Witkoff. So 2 real estate agents, a Gusano, a tech bro, and Donald Trump. Good. I'm sure the Russians should do very, very, I'm sure the Russians will love this. They're going to run circles around. It's Putin and Lavrov are going. I don't even need to say the rest of the delegation. Yeah. They're going to just run circles around the Americans. Like, look at these people.
Sarah, I'm going to let you go.
I'll get my debate ready for next week when we talk about why Donald Trump believes his delusions of grandeur.
Thank you. Thank you.
You'll come prepared.
Sarah Bils, a host and creator of DDGO Politics. Check them out. It is a fantastic outlet. They are great. I wanted to get the information about Iraq, and we were going to do that on StreamYard. I can't do it until I close the show.
Okay.
If you give me like 1 minute, I will close the show.
I'm around. Yeah. Or you can text or call me. I don't care.
You said you didn't want to do that by text.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, let's do it.
Give me 1 minute. I will close the show.
Right. Bye, guys. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you in a minute.
All right. I'm going to close.